Hello everyone and welcome back to the ALO Gaming channel. So, this is the big one, the let's make a sci-fi RPG game, or let's try to make a sci-fi RPG. This is the second video in this series. The first one was called Mud Box Mayhem. I did try to schedule it to go up today on the 20, what are we now? The 20... the 30th of April. But I'm still learning about YouTube, and while I thought I had it set to go live at noon, I had it set to go live at midnight, so consider that a bonus video. So that's not going to be today's video, this is going to be today's video, and we're actually in the level for the big sci-fi RPG that we've been waiting for. I hope you enjoy it. I think it's going to be pretty cool. So you can see here, I got a bunch of high definition sci-fi assets from the asset store. I think I got them on Homo Bundle actually. So we'll just pop into this. So I'm just taking them down and I'm setting out the level. So this is going to be the level layout. So this is going to be so the level is set in the interior of a spaceship. So what we have is this is going to be the bridge, and then I'm going to lay out all the walls, connect them together. Now what I did was, and I don't think I have it here, let me check. This might be it. Hang on. Is this the right one? Is this the right one? No, that is not the right one. That's a shame. I have a notebook somewhere that I sketched out the layout for this interior. So I did actually do some planning for it, which is unusual for me. So I'm just trying to follow that along. So when I'm doing this, I actually have my notebook out in front of me and I'm looking at it, and I have a little bit drawn out where I want the corridors to go, where I want there to be dead ends, and I've marked down where I'm going to put some enemies and stuff. So, and this is another time-consuming part of it. I can't get my book back in the drawer. Oh well. Because I'm basically just copying over the assets, moving them to where I want them to be. So what I had in my drawing, I have another notebook here. Bear with me. Keep watching the video and see where I just place the stuff while I see if I can find the correct notebook. This looks... No. This is my game dev idea book, but not my college book. So there's my onion. I don't know if you can... I spoke about the onion before. So you're the interior of the onion. This is for the Booster Blaster build, which the videos are up on the channel already. So the interior is your basic, what you want. This is your minimum shippable product, and then you start going out to stuff that you can add in. I didn't do that for this project, which I should have done. I do wonder where... Sorry. I do wonder where my other notebook is gone. Oh, wait. Got too many notebooks. I have a notebook for writing ideas because I do a little bit of writing every now and again. I have a notebook for game dev ideas, and then I have a college notebook. And since this was a college assignment, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. If you can't see this on camera, what I might do is take pictures of it and just pop them up. I don't know if that's gonna... Is that gonna... Can you see a little bit? Very light pencil drawings. I will probably just take pictures of them and pop them up on the screen and say that, yeah, I'll just pop them up on the screen and we'll talk about them at some stage. Just so that I am following an actual, a map of sorts. It's not perfect. But yeah, so you can already see my hierarchy is massive and not... it's not sorted out yet, so I'm not keeping this tidy at the moment. So these are all metal support paths, chamber floors. There should be walls here, details. So I'm just making sure that they're snapping together. In Unity, if you hold V and click on the corner of an object, you can snap it to other objects within the scene. So I'm trying to snap them all together so that there's no gaps between the walls, so that they line up perfectly. And I'm just following my little layout. So according to my layout, I'm going to have a look at this and we're going to talk through it, even though you can't see it. So I have one page for the bridge. And then the bridge goes out. And on the next page, I have the first corridor. So I have it coming out from the bridge. And then, so when you come out here, there's going to be a corridor going up that way. So opposite to this one. So there, kind of just going up that way. And it's going to be blocked off by debris. And then this corridor coming down here, this is going to be a storage room / armory. And then it's going to continue down to an airlock, which is going to be down here. Then there's going to be a corridor going down this way with another one continuing on from the door out to the bridge, a corridor connecting them. There'll be 2 storage rooms there facing each other. And the corridors will continue down. There'll be debris blocking them off, and in the middle of it will be a lift. So you continue down here, and you'll see that come up, and then the lift goes down, and there's another corridor, and then it leads into an engine room. So yeah, this is how it starts. You have an idea. You need to build a level. You need to have a level built before you can actually bring stuff into it and get it working. So. We saw me try to model or sculpt the player in Mudbox in the last video. I got bored, not bored, I got angry of that because Mudbox was hard. So I gave that up. And now I'm just building the level. I do finish it. I don't record me finishing it, but then I'll bring that in and I'll get that working. So this is just me copying and pasting or duplicating walls and manually placing them down. It takes a long time, especially because this level is so big. So we're going to scrub through this so that you just get an idea. So you can see I've laid out all the assets that I got, and that's where you can see just a load of random assets lying around because I laid them all out to see what I had to work with all the assets that came in the pack, and then I'm picking which ones I want. Now, because you actually come into this room, I'm duplicating the walls and turning them around so that the interior wall also has the same detail on it that the exterior has. And sometimes I need to change the sizes of them because they don't line up. So then we've got, we just keep scrubbing through. So that we can get onto some more interesting stuff as well, because this is just, this is part of it, but it does take a long time. So we've got a room with a door. So you come out here, this is the bridge, come out here. It's going to be an airlock at the bottom there. This is going to be a storage room with an armory, a gun rack on the wall. So we're just going to keep scrubbing through to see. I'm just going to keep going. So it's time consuming, but it's pretty cool. Bringing down a door, just putting it into place, lining everything up, making it look kind of cool, snapping it together. It's going to be the interior airlock door. So you can actually see through this one. So this was another door that came with the asset pack. So I think what I've done here is put it in the wrong place. I had the idea, because this is the exterior. I had the idea of being able to see out, but you don't want to be able to see out because that means I'd have to have an exterior. So I have an interior airlock door here, and then I changed this see-through door to the door to the bridge and the door to the other rooms that's not see-through, a metal door, so that I don't have to have any kind of exterior for the ship yet. This is just me, this is just the way it is, just kind of. I think I have hours of recording this that I will be able to scrub through. I thought I've got about 30 videos recorded so far for this particular project, but a lot of it is this kind of, it's going to be the same stuff. So I'm not going to have an hour video where you're just watching me duplicate stuff and hand place them down, because that would be boring. But it is a vital part of game dev and level design, and this is what if you're getting into game dev and if you're thinking of going to college, or you're kind of doing tutorials online to try and just figure it out yourself, teach yourself and get some stuff done, this is what you're going to be in for. And when you're playing games, and you're playing massive levels, it's nice to be able to kind of take the time to appreciate that somebody's gone and built that level. And this is why some of these games take, 6 years, like the massive open world stuff, like 6 years to build it, because they have these huge worlds and somebody has to build them all. Now, there are easier, probably quicker ways to do it. You can do procedural level generating stuff, but you still have to build all the assets. And so you can see there's a little gap there that I'm going to try and fix. I'm being very finicky, so you can just see a little gap there. You probably wouldn't see it in the game, but I know it's there and I don't like it, so I'm just going to fix it. I'm going to tighten up this because my mic is being a little bit loosey-goosey. So there we've got the airlock. We've got the armory / storage room. There's going to be debris here at some stage, so there's going to be a corridor that goes off down there, and then the corridor is going to continue down that direction towards the elevator, the lift-elevator. So you can see it's come together, lining it up so that it looks right-ish. I'm going to move that door in because I realized that I want the see-through door to be the interior airlock door, and then I'll have a door like this to be the exterior airlock door. So quite a big... For a simple project, this is quite a big level, bigger than it needs to be, and a lot more difficult to finish off. So, yeah, but it's fun. So I put in some scaled down doors just so that everything can, or walls, so that everything can fit in the way it's supposed to. We're just going to get through all this kind of stuff. And line it all up. This is going to be another one of the cargo bays. So basically the idea for this game, I should probably say, you're going to start off in the bridge. The idea is that the ship has been attacked and it's crash landed and it's been damaged and it's being boarded by the enemies. So you will be told that the ship is damaged, that the engine is close to exploding, which is not good, and some components need to be replaced, some sci-fi techno-babbly components. So you need to collect 3 of them from the storage rooms on this level, but there are enemies on board, so you'll need to get a weapon and kill the enemies, get down to the engineering level, into engineering, to the engine room, and replace the broken components. And then when you've done that, you'll be told, okay, you need to leave the ship for whatever reason, get to the airlock. So the airlock door is locked at the start. So even if you come out of the bridge and go straight to the airlock, that interior door will not open. You will need to, it won't open until the ship is repaired. So that's why I'm building out these cargo bay rooms. And just kind of building out the level. This took ages. I mean, I'm scrubbing through this pretty quickly. Like, this is an hour that I've scrubbed through, and I've got this much done. This part of the level's not finished. There's an elevator shaft, a lift going in. There's a bottom level, and where I'm at with it now, currently, in the present day, while the level is actually laid out and finished, I have a lot of empty rooms and stuff, so there's still a lot of set dressing and props to go in. So the level's not even done. I moved on from doing level design to, once I had enough of the level, I started trying to get the gameplay loop in. So we're going to go on to the next video, which continues straight on from this. This video is 2 hours and 41 minutes, guys. But considering the last one was an hour and we've only been recording for 14 minutes, I can probably scrub through a lot of this. So we might be able to get through a good chunk of my 30 videos within this one. And these will slow down once I get into the more nitty-gritty, trying to program things to work and get the gameplay working. But I think it's important to see kind of the whole process And I'm not going to put you through the hours and hours it took me to build it, so I will scrub through it quickly. But you get an idea of time consuming and kind of just how it goes. The kind of work that you got to put into it and the time. It's quite. You might say, I didn't find it boring. It sounds boring. And kind of looking back on it and watching this, you might go, geez, that sounds so boring. But once you're doing it and you're creating something of your own, and you kind of see it start to grow and come to life, it's actually really cool. I really enjoyed this, building my own little spaceship interior. As a huge sci-fi nerd, this is kind of my bag, right? This is really cool. Just getting it bigger. This is going to be the lift or elevator, depending on the country that you're in. The liftivator. So it's going to have a different floor. It's going to have some different walls. Camera's clipping on me in the scene. That's kind of annoying. But so basically the same thing. So these came with the asset pack. This particular floor. I just duplicate it and snap them together, and then select them, duplicate, snap, place, duplicate, snap, place, duplicate, snap, place, until I have a floor, an elevator floor. And just try and get the sizing right and the position right and make sure that it all lines up. I did notice when I first did this that some of them were a little bit lower down than others, so they'd snapped to maybe the bottom of the floor instead of the top of the floor. So I'm just going through to make sure that they're all the same. The Y values are all the same, so that you don't have kind of uneven floors, because, taking the time to build a spaceship, you don't want uneven floors. That would just be weird. So we're back in the bridge. Now I think, just taking the floor from the bridge and duplicating that out. And I'm going to have to build a floor for the entire upper deck. So again, this takes a long time. Even with, there are shortcuts. So I would duplicate one and then I'd place it where I wanted it. Then I'd select the two and duplicate the two of them, and then place them down, and then select the four and duplicate the four. So you're kind of getting that kind of exponential growth of duplicates. So that can speed it up, but it's still, duplicate it, hand place it, and you'll see. But it is starting to come this way. You see me just dragging and selecting a load of them, duplicate them, and then what I'll do is I'll just select loads of these floors, because they all basically and then duplicate them and move the selection over. That is a quicker way to do it. And then what I can do is select all this line, and duplicate that, and then I'll have 4, and keep going. And obviously make sure that this doesn't overlap with the lift. So again, just scroll through until we get a floor. Just make sure all the rooms have floors. It doesn't matter. So if we see, I might have gone past, you can see there that it's the floor overlaps on the outside of the wall, but seeing as you're never going to see the outside of the level, that doesn't matter. It's better to have an overlap than to have a slight gap like you can have here, because that you will see in the level, and you don't want there to be no floor. So just tweak the positions of the walls. So there was a lot of placing stuff down and then tweaking stuff to make it fit better. And sometimes my math was off because I was trying to kind of calculate how many walls I would need to go all the way down and how many floors I would need to get to the next intersection and the next little turn and that kind of stuff. And it wouldn't line up, so then I'd have to tweak things around, or they wouldn't fit properly because I snapped them wrong, so I'd have to go back. Very annoyingly. So this, now we're adding in just some little girders, if that's what they're called, to the lift, to just make it look a little bit different, set it apart from everything else. So we're just gonna, and then we tweak the size of the entrance to the lift, and just scale these so that they all fit in. Make sure that the floor is all lined up. And then we've got a load of time of me doing nothing. Let's just assume I've taken a little break. And we're back. Doing the back wall. Sometimes I leave OBS recording while I go for smoke breaks and stuff. And that's allowed because I can just edit them out or scrub through it, so that's fine. I can do what I want, I'm old. And then we're doing the lift shaft. The shaft. We're going to build the shaft. So it's going to come down. Come down. Oh, my eyes. Yes, I'm still suffering with hay fever. Now we're doing ceilings. Well, that was quick. Let's just jump back a little bit. Okay, so I've done it. I've gone down, and this is the opening. I've gone down a little bit, not a lot. But I've started the elevator shaft, so that when you come in, the elevator goes down. The elevator will go down. So the floor and the girders will move down this shaft to the bottom. And there is a gap here for the door to come out, so you're going to come out that door. But there doesn't need to be a gap here. So I'm just going to bring this wall down. Yeah. Yep. Cool. So you can see it's working. So I just skipped through the shaft pretty quickly. So I just wanted to go back so you can see. I mean, it is basically the same as everything else, which is just taking the asset that I have and then duplicating them and placing them where I need them. So we're rotating the bottom ones because you will see, you'll see the whole thing. It doesn't really matter. And then we're going to swap these around because they're duplicated from the entrance to the lift. It means that the sizing is all correct. So since the exit's going to be on this side, I just swap them around so that it works. And it should all line up. It doesn't because, it's me and nothing ever works the way I want it to. But it, I'm happy with it. I'm kind of proud of the progress that I made. This was weeks and weeks of because keep in mind that I was doing other assignments at the same time as doing this. I foolishly thought that this one assignment could be used for a couple of different modules because we had at the start of the year, that was my understanding of when they explained how the different assignments that we were going to have, and then it turns out that it wasn't. The group project could be used for different modules. And we had a very ambitious group project as well. So I ended up with an ambitious group project, which thankfully I had a very good group helping. So at least I wasn't doing everything. But then I also had this massive ambitious project that I was doing all by myself, as well as other smaller projects that I had to do, as well as all the written assignments that I had to do and all the other stuff. So it was, it's a lot of work, very stressful. Obviously, I put that on myself because I made this bigger than it needed to be. So there's going to be debris here, so you can't go past this. So you're going to come out here. So there's a door there, a door there. These are these are storage rooms. It's going to be debris blocking this off. That's your armory storage room. So you're going to collect one thing there, collect one thing there, collect one thing there. There'll be some enemies that you have to kill. Go to the lift, go down, come out, and then get to engineering and repair the stuff, come back to the lift, come up and get to the airlock. That is the basic game loop for this game. So now we've done the shaft, so we're going to do the ceiling. And again, it's the same as the floor, so it's just, get the ceiling, put it in place, duplicate it, snap it, select all of them, duplicate it, and you can just see that it comes out, and we've got a ceiling over the first floor, the first deck, if you will, of my ship. So this is what it looks like inside. There is a massive gap there, so I need to go around. So this is what I did and what I do. is when I've placed some stuff. I do a little run through of the level, holding right click in the scene view and using WASD to actually move around and have a look around the scene. And then wherever there's issues and problems or like gaps, that kind of thing, I go in and I fix them. And there is a few that I missed while placing all this stuff down because, I mean, that's just the way things go. But you get them. So sometimes there's gaps between doors. I left some intentionally in because this assignment, we had to do an alpha build, a beta build, and a final build. And the alpha build had to have problems in it and bugs. So that when we did the alpha build, we'd give it to somebody to test it. They would give us a bug report. We would go and fix those bugs for the beta build. Then we'd hand up the beta build. And then we'd go off and do some polish work and hand up the final build. So I've done the alpha and the beta, but in these recordings, if you see that I've left some kind of gaps, or when we get to the gameplay mechanics, you'll see some bugs there. That they're meant to be there for the alpha build. I left them in intentionally. I do fix them, so don't blow up in the comments being like, "Oh, you left that in and that doesn't work and you didn't care." No, it had to be there. That was part of it. It bugged the shit out of me leaving them in. Really went against my whole like perfectionist mindset. I was like, oh, I just want to fix. I can see it's there. I want to fix it. And I think what I actually did was I did the alpha build that had all the bugs in it, and then immediately just kept going and fixed all the bugs before I'd even handed the build off to be tested and got the bug report. So when I got the bug report back, most of the bugs that were in it were already fixed because I just couldn't wait. It really just triggered me in a very strange way. Because I like to think I'm a very laid back, easygoing kind of guy. It takes a lot to ruffle my feathers and bother me. But when it comes to my own work, it's very easy for me to get frustrated. I can bother myself. It seems like other people can't bother me, but I can bother myself to no end because I can be very annoying. So we're just going to add on a little roof. We're going to extend out this corridor, even though there's going to be debris blocking it. I'm just extending it out to a T corridor so that when you're looking down, you cannot see that the level isn't finished and the light's coming in. So we're just going to block it off. We're going to do that. Put some ceilings on it. I still haven't figured out what to do. I had an idea, and I need to figure out the best way to go about doing it. So those holes are still open at the end of the lift. They're still there. They're still there, but there's debris blocking them. But you can still see past the debris and see that there's nothing beyond it. And what I want to do is kind of get a screenshot of the corridor, of a corridor, and then just kind of put it in as a billboard so that it looks like the corridor continues on. And I want to see how that looks because I think that would be okay. But I haven't gotten around to that yet because there were more important things to do. So I'm putting a door in for the lift, and it's going to be the see-through door because I like that door. And I don't want it all just to be metal doors. So for the lift, I think this is okay. So I put that in. And I'm probably going to sneeze in a second, which is going to be very nice. I'll try not to. Fucking hay fever. Could be worse. Could have COVID-19, I guess. But my eyes are killing me. My nose is all itchy and irritated. It's which is strange because the last few years I haven't really had bad hay fever. I used to have bad hay fever when I was younger, and then I stopped having hay fever. And then like every other year I'd get mild hay fever, and then this year I've just been hit like a fucking freight train with it. Excuse me. It doesn't help that everything that I'm doing right now kind of puts strain on my eyes. So I'm spending hours at the computer either recording these videos or doing assignments or even playing the computer, playing games. If I'm not doing that, I'm reading. And if I'm not doing that, I'm probably watching videos on my phone. So my phone's right up here. So my eyes are always kind of constantly being used, except when I'm asleep. So it's just kind of irritating. I do have eye drops and antihistamine. I'm not taking the antihistamines though because I'm stupid. So now I'm selecting all of these, every single one of them. Oh yeah, this must be, I hope this is where I'm tidying things up, because it is, like, you can see that this hierarchy is far too big. Like, if I wanted to find anything in here, it would be a nightmare. So I'm just going to create an empty game object. That's not going to be seen. Oh, excuse me. It's not going to be seen in the game. It's just an empty game object. I'm going to call it ceilings, and then I'm going to take all the ceilings to it and drag and drop them into it so that I can at least just collapse it down. Yeah, I know. Yep. Just going to turn them all off. Don't know why I did that. I didn't actually. I created the empty game object and then I undid it and didn't drag them into it. So we're going to... Oh, now I'm building up the second one. Yeah. I created an empty game object called ceiling. I selected all the ceilings. Then I created an empty game object. And when I did that, it unselected all the ceilings. So I hit Control-Z so that it would reselect all the ceilings. But doing that undid me creating the empty game object. So that would have meant that I would have had to create the empty game object, then reselect all the ceilings. And instead, I decided I would just go back to the selection of all the ceilings, turn them off so that I couldn't see them, and then start working, on the second floor, deck 2. And again, it's the same thing as the first floor, and I do have a sketch of it. You know what? Well, we might do. We'll see. So I'm just going to make sure everything lines up, and then duplicate them out. In my sketch, what I had was it coming out from here, and then there'd be a door on either side of this corridor. One of them would be a science lab, one of them would be a sick bay. Then there'd be, I'd have to look at it again, I think there is kind of a corridor going off and around. And at the very end of this corridor is the engineering room itself. So you'll see it. It's hard to verbalize. So actually, this is where we're at right now, which I think is pretty cool. I'm going to pause this here. So this is what we've done. So we've got the start of the bridge. So the bridge isn't finished. We've got the start of the bridge, and then we've got the corridor. We've got the whole upper deck with your armory / storage room, your airlock, your cargo bays, and your elevator. It's going to be debris blocking this off, so you can't go that way. Debris blocking these two corridors off. We got the lift coming down, and then that's going to continue on. So you can see that it's growing. The level is growing, and I think that's what I mean. Like placing all these walls and floors and ceilings and stuff can seem quite boring, but when you see it all come to life, you can see the level grow before your eyes. I think it's really cool. I love looking at this. That's basically going to be my playground. So this is all of I'm just searching for all the ceilings so that I can select them all. Select them all. And do nothing with them. That's a good idea. That hierarchy is... And the level's not done yet, so you can see... you can see just like how much this is. If I don't organize this, gonna be... So I select them all. I'm just gonna... So there they are, selected. So I'm going to just click and drag it down into this empty game object that I've created. And then I can just collapse that down so at least all the ceilings are gone. So, and then I can turn the game object on and off, which will turn all the children off, which means I can turn the entire ceiling on and off as I want. And then I'll obviously have to add ceilings to the second level. This is a good way to organize your hierarchy, especially when you have massive amounts of stuff in it. And I will do the same thing for the walls and the floors coming up. So we're going to skip on. So we're currently at 34 minutes, so we'll see what the next one is like. So, because we're not really doing anything else with this. It's 10 seconds. Let's see. 4, 3, save it. Always remember to save because Unity can crash. I have lost So we should be on 4 now. Let's see where this goes. We're going to open up. Where are we at? Okay, so there's been a bit of a jump. So this is the bridge. I'm going to pause so I can try and explain. Actually, we'll see. I'll pause it, right? So I've finished the walls. I've put the ceiling up. I've finished the floors. I've created a kind of, there's a ramp coming up to this level. This, what I wanted it to be, was like a holographic projector thing. And I want to try and use the VFX graph to create a hologram effect of a planet or something like that. And then there's another. So then I need to add in computers and stuff. So obviously I've done a little bit of work since the last video on just the level building. There's a walkway going all the way around. This took ages getting this walkway, and it's not perfect because I don't have corner pieces, so I've just had to kind of overlay them on it, which is what I made some steps. The steps are basically this floor scaled down and then placed as steps. These are assets. The balconies are assets that came with the pack. So I've got some little assets. I've got some stuff under here. Got some ladders that you won't be able to use, but there's ladders there just, you know, to add in a little bit of, just to make it look like there's more to it. There's my player. Oh, the finished player. We'll get to see him in more detail soon. We're doing a little run through of the level. I have packed out this particular room with some boxes that came with it. This, just go back there for a second. This is going to be the weapon rack, so I'm going to bring in some weapon assets and just kind of put them on that wall. Come around here. This particular, go back there for a second. Come on. This particular box here that's open, that's going to be what you have to collect. So you're coming in to collect that. I have the lift selected for some reason, and you can see I've done the lift. So now we've got the exterior airlock door is now not see-through, so that's kind of handy. If we come through here, this is the lift, which is still a lift. You come down the lift, come out. Have I finished off? So this has ceilings. I finished off this room. This is going to be the sick bay. This, or possibly this science lab. This is going to be whatever one that one isn't. It's going to be debris there, blocking that off. And we're going to come around here, just another little connecting path. So that leads back to the elevator. I think there was a little inlet there. I think that's going to be like just a tiny little storage closet kind of thing. This comes around here. This is going to have debris blocking it off. And then we've got the door to engineering, which is a massive empty room that I have to fill. We zoom up and we can see the level as it is. So you can see how also, if you look at my hierarchy, I have these empty game objects. So if this is it, this is my level. And we're back in at the bridge. This is a computer that came with the asset pack, but I'm not happy with it, so I think I'm going to model my own one. So that was the end of that. Oh, that was handy. So we're now on back doing something else. What are we doing? We're adding, okay. Oh, my eyes. We are adding, so that was just a little fly through of the entire level built. So that's kind of cool that I did that, rather than record me doing the whole thing. So we are now going to animate the doors so that they open and close. So we're going to do a little bit more. So once we actually come in here and once I start doing some stuff, doors, I've got an animator controller. So I created this animator controller. So I recently finished the last 2 videos I did. Well, no, the last one I did was the Mudbox Mayhem, but we have the ALO's animator assembly attempt videos. So there's 2 videos in that where I go through this animator controller and building animations in it. And this is where that comes into play. So that was just a little test scene of me trying to get a character to move using different animations. This is where that kind of work comes in. So I'm going to make an animator controller. I have made the animator controller. I'm going to start making some empty states, I would hope. Come on, you can do it. This is Aura. This came with the Humble Bundle. I have never used it, but it's in my scene. I will use it for post-processing towards the end. It's for lights and stuff and atmosphere, I think. Apparently it's very handy. I've seen it being used. I've not used it myself. Come on, let's start doing something. We're here to do the animator. So if we right click, now I'm going back to what am I doing? What do I want to do? Window. Oh, I need the animation window as well. Correct, because I'm actually going to animate this myself. So as well as the animator, I need the animation window. And that's this. So you can select an object and you can click create to create an animation. So you can animate with it within Unity. I don't know what it's like to animate characters inside of Unity. I wouldn't. I would use Maya or Blender. But for animating doors, and I do the lift going up and down, I do that within Unity, and it's really handy. So I'll just keep him. So I save. I'm going to create a door open anim. Okay. So we're going to record. So the top door. Add a keyframe, but I don't do it there. So no. See, it's been a while since I've used the animation, and actually we haven't. While we did have a class in using the animator, we never had a class in using the animation thing itself and creating our own little animations, as far as I remember. If we did, I don't remember. So I set a key at the start for it to be closed, and then at 5 seconds, we're going to set a key for it to be up there. So then we can just scrub through. So it opens. When this animation plays, it'll open. And what I can do, I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom one. I get better at this. This is the first attempt. I do end up creating animations for other doors. I thought I could reuse this animation for every door until I realized that the thing that's being animated is its position. So if I copy that and move it onto another door that is actually at a different position within the level, then it's going to jump to this door and animate here. So I have to record animations for each individual door, and I get better at it as I go. There are better ways to do it. To the point where I left this one alone. I never changed it because it worked. But when I went back to it, I kind of looked at it and it confuses me. So this is not the best example for animation, but it is how I started. So I kind of went, okay, we're just going to animate the door opening, and then we're going to animate the door closing. And it works. So this is a completely new animation. So they're going to start open, ideally. So we're going to open it. We're going to add a keyframe on the position, and then, but the good thing to do would be so you copy the component so that it goes exactly to this position, so you don't have to kind of drag it back up to where you think it should be. You don't need to add an animation event really. I just need to add a keyframe. Oh, and I've lost the object. Just make sure you get the right object. Should go. This is now on the door open anim, so it went back. So issues. But issues are okay. We fix issues. Issues are good. Issues are how you learn. We just gotta fix them. So we're on the door close anim. At the start, it should be closed. It's open, but at the start it should be closed. No, at the start it should be open. Yes, that's correct, because I'm closing the door. Oh my god, issues. Even my brain is having issues. So door close anim. What I should be doing is, if you click this little kind of padlock icon, it'll lock the inspector so that if I click off this particular object, it won't deselect it. Because this is the issue I'm having, where it's constantly deselecting and I have to go reselect it. So you can lock the inspector so that doesn't happen. If you see something I'm already doing wrong, or something I haven't noticed, I would be interested. Leave it in the comments below. I'd be interested to see if you've discovered something that I didn't realize at the time. Now I can't unsee it. Every time I look at it, I can't unsee it. But at the time, I never really noticed it. And I spent ages trying to figure out why something wasn't working. And then I brought it into college and showed my teacher, and he immediately just went, "There it is." And it's such a simple fix. But sometimes when you're learning a new thing, like, you miss the simple things, like, because people don't explain them to you. Maybe they think, oh, everyone knows that, or it's obvious, or you might be trying to get some of the more complicated stuff into your head so that you miss out on hearing about the simple stuff. Excuse me, but yeah, no. So if you can see that, it does. Well, if you spot the one I'm talking about and you comment below and say, yeah, what about that? That's not going to work because of this. It does get fixed eventually. If you spot something that I don't know about, that would be interesting as well. Pop that in the comments below, and I will let you know whether or not that ever gets fixed. And if it doesn't get fixed in the videos, it will get fixed by me eventually if you point it out. But I think more or less everything works okay. So this is basically how you use the animation. The animation, what would you call it? The window in Unity, the animation function. Just create keyframes, move things around. Once you create your first keyframe, and once you, if you move it along the timeline, and then move the object or change it in any way, it will automatically create keyframes at that point. Pretty standard with every animation software as far as I know. So we're going to bring in the door animator components, and this is where we set this up. So this is what we would have done the exact same if you watched the animation assembly attempt videos. This will be very familiar to you. But instead of bringing in animations from Mixamo, I'm actually bringing in the animations that I saved, that I just did in the animation window. So we're going to go from idle to door open. Now, I never created an idle animation as far as I'm aware, but the idle animation would just be it closed. My nose. My hay fevery nose. The worst part about having hay fever right now is that because everyone's stuck inside, my family have taken it upon themselves to take this time to do a lot of gardening. So there's grass being cut and trees being cut back and flowers being planted, and which is great because the garden's starting to look really, really nice. But it does mean that my hay fever is just going fucking crazy. But hey. So, I wonder if I could have used root motion to open the doors, because it's really just going up and down. I never thought of that. Instead, I'm going to do it through script. I'm going to apply a script because I have added a sphere collider that will be a trigger. And then when you enter the trigger, the door will open. And when you exit the trigger, the door will close. So here we go. I've got a door script. Get a door script. Doors are open. Don't know why. I think I do know why. Interesting. Anyway. So we've got the bridge door. It's got an animator. It's going from idle to open. I was just going from idle to open. I've not set any parameters. I've not specified when it should go. So I'm creating now an idle animation. I'm going to save it as idle into animation. Click save. Shouldn't have called it idle. I should have called it door idle, or, you know. And that's why naming is so important, because when I get to the player and the enemy, they're going to have idle animations as well. And it would be very easy to get confused as to what idle animation it is, because you don't want to drag a door idle animation onto an enemy or a player, because they're not doors. Obviously. God. I shouldn't need to explain that to you. Humanoid creatures are not doors. And you can take that information to the bank. So, So, where are we at? 20. Bridge door. It's got a door script that I must have already created. So we're going to open Visual Studios. This is going to take ages. Visual Studios. Okay, it hasn't. I have a player control script, so my player obviously is already being implemented. I did that in college. I needed some assistance with that, which is why there's no video for that. So we're gonna try to say that. So we need to get the animator, animator. I'm just gonna call it anim. That's what I normally do. I could call it door anim. I could call it whatever I want, but it's just handy. And then we're gonna assign that in the start function. So anim is equal to GameObject.getComponent animator. We've seen that before in a couple of other videos where I assign stuff like this. So we assign it at runtime. That's fine. And then what we want is an onTrigger enter, so that if the player enters, or the enemies, because you're going to want enemies to be able to go through the doors. I do end up having enemies on a patrol, a basic, simple patrol, but a patrol. And they go through into the rooms as well. So, what you want is if the other.gameObject.tag equals player as a string, then anim.set bool door opening to true. But I haven't set up the bools in the animator yet, so it'd be interesting to see what way I do this. I say interesting, or it should be other.gameObject.tag, because honestly, I think it should be. I'm not getting any errors there. Friendly. I did toy around with the idea early on to have an NPC that you had to rescue. So when you go down the elevator, you might find an NPC who is maybe the engineer, and you have to get him to the sick bay or something. So basically anybody, if it's a player, if it's a friendly person, if it's an enemy, they can all go through. Other.tag. I would have thought other.gameObject.tag. Other.tag. I'm convinced that I put other.tag down before and it threw up some errors. And that's why I always had to put other.gameObject.tag. Maybe it's the same. I've already forgotten how to code animations. No, that's not a thing. That's hilarious. Yeah. To be fair, that class, it seems so simple now because I just did that video yesterday. That class was at the very start of the year, and by the time I'm actually this far into this project, it has been a couple of months, probably. So I'm just trying to play the animation. I don't suppose that's going to work. And then when you leave, you want the door. So when you exit the trigger, you want the door to close. That's fine. So basically the same if it's a player, if it's a friendly person, or if it's an enemy. So anybody that enters the trigger that causes the door to open, you want them to cause the door to close when they leave. So we're going to try anim.play door closed. I don't think that's going to work. That's without using booleans. It's without... Yeah, see, I said it in a previous video that I got really confused between the difference, the states that you put in the animator controller. So if we just kind of go back, if we like this name and the names of parameters, which I haven't even put in here, I got so confused. So I thought that calling this in code should work. but this isn't the animator. This is just the state that it is in. This isn't the animation. So this isn't the actual close animation. This is just where that animation is being held. And you need a parameter to access it. So here is oh, this is my enemy. I use my enemy. So this is the enemy that I sculpted in college. You can't really see him because it's dark. I'm using him just as a prototype to make sure everything works. I mustn't have finished my player at this point then. Maybe I haven't gone back to Mudbox yet. Well, obviously I did in college to do this. But maybe I haven't returned to the player since that video, because, you know, it was a very upsetting one. Sorry, just the group project. Just more people talking about. We got an email today to say that the final build for this has to be in by the 12th of May if we want to get graded on it. Now, we've already done enough to pass that module, but it would suck to have done this much work and not get it into oh my god, it's playing something. So we pop them into the triggers, not doing anything. It's gone nutsy crazy. You can see there it went nutsy crazy. Interesting to see. Do I figure it out? The enemy should have a rigid body, but then he falls through the floor. So the floor should have a collider. He should also have a collider. He doesn't have a... It doesn't look like he has a collider. The floor should have a collider. Floor has a mesh renderer. It has a box collider. Okay, so the player needs a collider. If we put in a rigid body, we'd also need... Unless the enemy body has a collider... But I'm giving him a mesh collider anyway. And a rigid body, just so that he doesn't fall through the floor. So this is the bit that happens after you design your level. You start bringing things in and trying to get things to work, and the more stuff you add and the more stuff you try, the more stuff breaks. He's fallen through the floor again. He's fallen through the floor. He just keeps falling. Yeah, okay. Nothing I can do about it. He's fallen through the floor. He's gone. He's gone. Stop it. He's gone. Me desperately trying to just stop playing the game. Right? If I unplay. And so he should be back. He's back. Okay, he's back. So we've got, maybe make that convex. Will that make a difference? He's not falling through the floor. Oh, he is. He's falling through the floor. He's falling through the floor. Interesting. I don't remember having these problems. And I actually don't remember how I fixed them. Is kinematics should fix the problem, but that just means that the enemy can't move, so I won't be able to move him anywhere. But for testing purposes of will this door open when I put him inside the trigger, it does not, because I don't have any parameters for when the door should open. I know that. And if you watched my animator assembly attempt videos, you should know that too. So we're all learning together. See, that's pretty cool. It is quite funny that I forgot that. But I mean, you get a lot of information thrown at me in college, as well as learning stuff online as well. You know, some of the information does slip through the cracks, and you forget things. And considering that was the only time we did it, it's repetition that helps you learn. And that was the only time that we'd done it in that particular class at the very start of the year. So when I got to this point, having only done it once, I was kind of like, yeah, or twice. So I've deleted the thing. Oh, look, it's hovering around there. I'm just going to create a transition again. Okay. Okay, we'll see. Well, I might get it. I might get it to work. We'll see. Videos almost. I'm just going to create a little triangle. So it's going to open, then it's going to close, and then once it's closed, it's going to go back to idle. Now, there we go. I've remembered. Yeah, no. I know I want to do it through a trigger, but this is a different. I've never used a trigger for an animation. We have done it in class. It has been explained to me. You can use animation events and triggers to play animations at a specific time. I don't remember exactly how to implement it or when it would be beneficial. But I know for this, Booleans work. Yeah, Booleans? Yes, Booleans. Booleans would work. So set the door is opening bool to true if I created a bool here called door is opening. And then Boolean here called door is closing. Put that into the lines of code there. There is an issue I'm having. I did say there would be an issue. We probably won't see it in this one. Because I haven't had a chance to go to college and ask yet. You know, so. Okay, so this video is going to go slightly over the hour, but we've gotten through a good chunk. So what did we get through? Three of my recordings out of 30. So, you know, we're well on our way. So it's not working. Nothing's working. There's no transition list because I've no parameters. Well, I have a trigger, so. Okay, I'm going to give this some thought and see. Will I try to figure it out before? There's 5 minutes left in this particular recording. I'm curious to see what I do in those 5 minutes. Bridge door, animator controller, it's got an idle, it's got this. Nothing seems to be working. Delete that, yeah. Add in a bool. Okay, we're getting there. I'm gonna call it door open. That's a bool, that's cool. Gonna create one called door close. Gotta be careful with these naming conventions because that's very close to what I've called the states, which is why I get confused, I think. Also, not a great name for a bool, door open. I guess, well, like is door open would be, or door is door opening, or door is opening, and door is closing. Those kind of names, just for, because door open would be a state, not really a true. Well, door open true, I guess. I mean, whatever works for you, whatever you can keep track of. So if door open is door closed is true, we're going that way. If door open is true, we're going there. If door open is closed, we're going there. Door closed is false and door open is false. Maybe we go there. I don't know. I feel like that's going to get stuck in the door closed position. Transition, state idle, use parameter, new trigger does not, yeah, well the trigger's gone, so that error is fine. But then I need to access these bools that I've just created here. So, and make sure that they're spelled correctly. So the problem with strings is that if they're not spelled exactly the same, it won't work, but you won't get any errors saying that there's an issue with the code. So door open, I believe I called it. Set that to true. And then door closed. So Adam.set bool. Set bool door closed. See? So why naming conventions are important. I called it door closed, not door close. Where I didn't call it door opened. Call it door closed. So you got to keep these, you know, the same, or, you know, copy and paste them. But I did notice it because I know what a pain strings can be. So we're going to test it now. So we've got the states set up. We've got them coded correctly. Everything looks like it should work. I need to take my enemy. He is untagged, so it's not going to work. It's not going to work because he's untagged. Because in the code, I'm only saying if it's player tagged as player, friendly, or enemy. So if it's not tagged as anything, it's not going to work. Unfortunate that I didn't figure that out. There's a lot to keep in mind when you're doing this. Oh, I've tagged it as player. Okay. Still not working. Still not working. Still not opening. Okay. If I turn off his kinematic, he's going to fall. It's not a problem with the code. It's not a problem with the code. I don't think I'm going to figure it out in this video. I think I'm just going to debug.log. Trigger recognized. So anyway, something's not working, and you want to know why. Throw in some debug.logs or print strings so that something will turn up in the console, so that you know. If I know that this line of code is working, then I know it has to be something outside of the script, which means it has to be something either on the object itself or on the doors or some kind of setting in the inspector. So to check my console, it doesn't seem to be registering. He is tagged as player. He is tagged as player. Okay. It's just drag him in. Nothing's popping up, so it's not detecting. So it's not even detecting that line of code. Oh, it has, yeah. The door has the script on it. I was going to say the script's not even on the thing. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see how I fix this. I don't remember. I remember one problem I was having. I don't remember why the code's not working. But we will find that out in the next episode. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you do, like the video, share it with anyone you think might be interested in it, and consider subscribing so that you don't miss out on all this cool content we got coming up. So we're going to get way more in depth and create a whole basic game level from scratch. So we're getting there. Yeah, so hit the notification icon and the bell icon and subscribe and all that kind of cool stuff, and I will see you guys next time.